you read Jack Welch book, the former CEO of GE, he said he said multiple companies came when GE wants to come to India. Multiple companies came to pitch, right, that who should take the offshore work of GE as the IT offshore work. That we evaluated many, and then in the last came Ajim Premji, very simple man, very humble man, and said, "This is what we can do for you. That's it. No bullshit promising, nothing." And he was clear in his thoughts, and he said, "We went ahead with Wipro to do that." Wow. So, for me, a leader, if he inspires and understand what's coming, that's more than enough. For everything else, they are technician or they are people who will execute your vision. If the email doesn't require a response, it is just, in a case where somebody is criticizing you, right? But it doesn't require a response. Instinctively, you will do a response, right? You will write a, we always have this part which is called, I saw, I laughed, I deleted. Practice that. Your life will change because you saw, you delete that email from your inbox, from your delete box, from everywhere, so that you cannot respond to it. Absolutely. And since you cannot do anything about that email anymore, there is nothing to do. Move on.
Very good point, Yashpalji. Very good point, because emails, I know many people would have sorted out many issues while just talking to the person, while just talking, which is the best way. Just like we are talking, I'm pretty sure that within this 1 hour of conversation, I think already we have done 1 hour, and we are yet to get into the meeting. Super inspiring. I'm so getting inspired. I'm getting so much inspired from this conversation. Yashpalji, this is for the first time that we have completed 1 hour, and still we have got to enter into some of these points which we are going to discuss, and still we have got almost all the secrets of success in front of us. So this
no, I'm not saying anything secret for success. It's just my experience of focus on what is needed, right? Everything else is a distraction.
This is the way. This is the reason I prefer calling these as free-flowing conversations, heart-to-heart conversations. So what you said is very important. Many people could have had conversation with the other person, and could have shared a cup of tea or coffee, and then they would have not shared. They would have enjoyed a cup of tea together, and they would have sorted it out. Instead of doing that, I've seen people sending emails and then counter emails and then emails and counter emails, and with each email, temperature goes up negatively.
I mean, we had this when I was working in open text. Mostly I used to work with my European colleagues, and for some reason the unwritten rule was text them, ask for the time, and I had no patience in that. I absolutely had no patience. My phone was beside me. Call them. If they feel offended, so be it. They will learn to live with me, right? While being offended, but at least I'll get a solution and move forward, because your end goal is to solve one problem which customer has, and customer do not care whether you have a cultural or some sensitivity or restriction. They want and they will appreciate only the result, because for them your internal process have no meaning. Whether you really worked hard. I tell my son, he comes back and he's in IB level school, and he comes back and said,
"He's in IB board. He's in IB board.
IB board, yeah."
My elder daughter is in IB board, class 11.
So they have this grading system, right, from 1 to 8, and he comes back and say, "Hey, I got 6th grade in math." And
grading, correct.
Yeah. So it's like happy. I said no. So why? I said anything less than 8 is bad in math. So why? And I said math and science are the only 2 subjects which are not subjective. History is subjective. Literature is subjective. These 2 are the only 2 subjects which are not subjective. There is no 2 opinion about it. You cannot have 2 opinion on a formula. It is the formula. It is how it is. And that means you getting 6 means you lost something. Either you did not know something, or you made a mistake, that means you did not know the concept of that. That means your end goal should be that anything less than 8 in science and maths is a failure, because you missed out something, right? There's something to learn then in that case.
Interesting.
And he took it in heart, actually. From the last three terms, he's getting 8 and all this stuff. He spends all this time and everything, but you have to tell these people what is your end goal. Everything else is a distraction. Everything else you think is okay is not okay, right? Keep moving that end goal, and once you determine this is what I want to reach, by whatever way, hook or crook, I use that word in a not a negative way. Don't break the law. Don't. But my point is, whatever is necessary, and this is what Gita says. If your listeners are other religions, it's just a word. You don't have to follow the religion. But the very profound thing when Arjun was talking to Krishna about things which are happening, killing the family members and all these stuffs there. Krishna said the same thing. We are not in the Yuga of Ram or before that, where truth was absolute, where virtues and values were absolute. We are in the Yuga where doing what is right is necessary, and whatever is necessary is right.
Yeah.
Get the job done. Now, how you do it doesn't matter anymore now, because your results, Virat Kohli in the last year, this year he started playing well. Last year, do you think he was practicing less in net? I think his routine was exactly the same, right? He was practicing exactly the same. But results, he was one of the most underperformer in the country.
Yeah,
if you really.
Absolutely.
But what was the end result? People do care about your practice. Do people care you wake up 4 o'clock in the morning and did your lifting and net sessions and everything? No. How much run you made at the end? And if you don't focus on, journey is important. Goal is, as I said, don't fixate it by the goal.
Yeah.
So there are two aspects to it, which are contradiction. If you work towards your journey, goal will happen automatically. Yeah. But for external people, the only measurement is goal.
Well, absolutely right. You're right. For internally for you, that unless you take some actions, including Virat Kohli is taking actions, spending time in the gym, changing his food habits and doing all kind of stuff which he has been doing for last few years. So that is something which Virat Kohli has to knows. Apart from that, when it goes on the crease, goes to the field, what people are looking for success and force, right? But both are connected. It's very interesting. Dichotomy and still both are important. Both are connected. All right. It's external and internal.
So my team, I tell the same thing, that customer will not care how much hard work you have put. I really don't care.
Yeah.
That's your internal problem. How you do that is your internal problem. But what results you bring at the end will matter everything. And focus on that. So do whatever necessary to get the job done, whatever it is. And it's always good to ask for forgiveness and permission. I had my boss in US, Nick Berg, one of the most influential person in my career. He was ex-Army Special Commando Force from US, Marine Corps. So he became a project manager in IT. So he brings the same value, right? When he is, and for him was, hey, Nick, I need to do something. I need to get this approval. I need to do this. No, Yashpal, just do it. Yeah, it requires 7 levels of approvals. No, do it. Once you get the result, people will forgive you. If you don't get the result, people will fire you, but they fire you now as well. So do it.
There is a quotation that which goes like this: your job is not done till the job is done.
Exactly. And that's why, the reason I came in sales. So I was a technical consultant and solution consultant.
Let's take a pause. Let's get into your journey. So let's start from your days, your childhood days, the places where you spent some time, and how did you? I think you already have shared quite a bit of very inspiring anecdotes and stories. But if there is anything which is missing, you can share, which you couldn't share.
And then I guess it was very organic.
Go on.
It was organic. I grew up in a village in Rajasthan, a small village, which probably have few thousand people.
Rajasthan is very close to my heart because my wife comes from Rajasthan. So Jaipur is a place where we keep on going. So which part of Rajasthan? Which is the?
Okay.
I know Rajasthan pretty well.
So there's a place called Bali. It's a near Mount Abu or
Mount
near
Abu.
Jodhpur.
Beautiful.
3-4 hours from both the places.
Very nice. Okay.
Not Mount Abu itself. So it's like 3-4 hours from Mount Abu or 3-4 hours from Jodhpur. So it's like
in between. Okay.
Yeah. So it's a small place. I grew up there.
Between Marwar and Mewar region, somewhere
exactly.
around. Yeah.
So grew up there till 7th and then moved to Bombay from the 8th grade. Did my schooling, graduation, everything from there, and did my initial working in Bombay as well for 1 year. And so the interesting thing, when we talk about, and I saw a couple of your sessions as well, videos. If you talk about looking at backward, right? You cannot look forward, and you look always, you connect the dot at the backward side of it, right? um, how the thing was interesting that, hey, my Kiran asked me to go to IIT, right? And then we did all this. But after 6 months, the middleman understood that I'm getting the job done from other people, and then he made his own company. And I was out of, because naive, right? You're 21-year-old, you have no idea of the corporate world that time. I mean, now the generation is much more knowledgeable and exposed to all this. At that time we had no idea, right? So I lost after 6 months. My job is done. But then you hear SAP, SAP, and everything from the people, right? So I took a SAP training, a programming training of SAP, and got a job at one of the place in Bombay. And he placed me as a freelancer in IBM. IBM was doing the project at Lupin Pharmaceuticals. And he sold me as a 2-year experienced person. And that was the name of the game in those world, right?
So people look for
I have a consultant who's 2 years.
Correct.
That even his fresher is 2-year-old, because you get the billing and everything.
Fresher could be better than experienced person, but still people look for, because that's the traditional mindset.
Correct. So salary I was offered that time, and this is the important thing, right? This salary I was offered was 3,000 rupees. Imagine, it was almost a joke life made on me that I paid IIT guy 3,000 rupees and then I get the same salary.
But good.
So he offered me 3,000 rupees, and I'm like, okay, man, let's get in, because no other jobs are there, right? Let's get in. Did the job. But since he exposed me as a 2-year experience, I'm sitting with the pharmaceutical guys and I'm sitting with IBM. So Mr. Jain, our requirement is, there was one module in SAP which was not available that time. It was the distribution part. So Lupin Pharmaceutical obviously manufactured and distributed to various distributor. Distributor will give it to their smaller distributor and so on, right? This entire journey has to be captured in SAP, and it was not there. So they started talking, okay, we'll have a consignee, we have this, that, and I had no idea what is performa invoice means. No idea. Nobody prepares you for that corporate world, right? I have no idea what is consignee agent means. I have no idea what is semi-distributor. No idea whatsoever. And I'm like, man, I'm in a deep shit. I cannot work like this anymore. But in the night, second day later, I realized, man, I'm going to quit this, because I cannot, I have no idea. I'm a fraud, But then I realized either you can give up or you fight. So I changed my routine. The work hours used to be 9 to 6. And I changed my routine. I'm like, I used to come first. So I used to live in a Lower Parel in Bombay, and the workplace was Santa Cruz. So it's like half an hour train ride. And you take a bus and everything. So I used to take 5 o'clock the first train and reach office by 6 a.m. And I used to tell the guard and everything, let me in. And from 6 to 9, I was just reading about the business. What is the terms? What is performa? What is PO? What is advanced shipment notification? What is consignee means? Just read. From 9 to 6, I was fraud. I was pretending I'm knowing something and noting down, but I had no idea what I'm doing. I was just pretending. That's it.
I was a fraud. I think it's very realistic sentence.
I was just pretending. And then I'm waiting for these guys to leave at 6 o'clock. So these guys to leave 6, and then I should tell them, hey, I have so much work. Then from 6 to 11, I used to start again studying and then code something there. So 11 o'clock was the last bus from that place where I used to take to train station. And I used to reach home by 12 o'clock. And my nani used to keep me paratha and achar. So 12 o'clock I used to reach, eat that, and go to sleep. Wake up at 4 o'clock again, get ready, 5 o'clock, the same journey starts. Wow. And weekends were the most sacred, because nobody is disturbing. I used to get the entire day work, right? Not pretending anymore. I did that for 6 months actually. And in 6 months, I gained the knowledge which people don't get in 4 or 5 years of working in that same thing, because you did all that, right? You made a new module in SAP, which people require 5 years of experience of making those modules and everything there. So I did that. And then, with the knowledge comes the power. So IBM guys who are sitting beside me, so these were the guys who are shallow, right? Who are not done the hands-on, who are showing off. So initially 1 month, 2 months, they started, bullying me, right? Because I didn't know much, but then you gain knowledge and you become powerful. Then for all my manual work, I used to tell the IBM guys, this is the job you need to do. You need to do all the documentation. I'm not doing because now I know my, my job very well.
So
So
the guy who has made IITians, who has made IBMers work for him. I mean, amazing man. So inspiring.
So from there, the interesting thing was how the life journey took over. So at the end, when I finished the whole thing, people were super happy. All these things happened. They said, hey, you need to now, every transaction we do, let's say database can go off. I mean, for the people who not technical, it can corrupt, right? So you need to archive those. You need to make a backup somewhere to keep the document safe and somewhere. That concept was new in SAP that time. People were experience of 5, 6, 10 years were doing those work. So okay, started learning. And when is the best time to learn for me? In the night, right? I sit there, start learning and everything. And that time there was another company who was doing some work for Lupin Pharmaceuticals and other some things. They were sitting, the guy head of technology, he was there, a delivery manager, and his flight to Trivandrum was at 3 a.m. or 2 a.m. So he was just spending time in the office, and he saw me working. And he came close and he said, "You're working on archiving?" I said, "Yeah." He said, how many years of experience you have? I said, 6 months. I said, told him on the paper I have 2.5 year experience, but real life I have 6 month experience in technology. And believe me, he made a call at 11 p.m. He made a call. And that time, if you remember, the Nokia communicator had a fax and everything, that time emails and everything.
Yeah.
He made a call at 11:30. I had an offer letter from him of 30,000 rupees. Now it's a jump of, from 3,000 to 30,000.
Oh.
He said, "We like you. We're looking for the technical people like you. Would you join us? The job location is in Trivandrum." Next second, I said, "Yes, let's do it." Because I've never seen Trivandrum. Let's do it. And 30,000
Yeah. Very good. Wow.
So I took the job offer, resigned, went to Trivandrum. And from there on, came to, there was also body shopping, right? That they were sending people to multiple places. So they sent me to Bangalore to work for Infosys for a month. And while in that area, while in that apartment, where 4-bedroom apartment, 4 people are sharing the room, one lady was working in Intel. And she saw my work of, when we're discussing in the evening, right? We all come together from office discussing what's happening and everything. She recommended my name in Intel. Intel offered me, okay, how much you want? I'm like, whatever is there. Yeah. And I was about to say, I just got an increment, a 2 month back. So what do you expect? And suddenly they offer higher salary. I'm like, yeah, I'm done, ready, down for it. Let's do it. So I joined Intel, within 6 months of that company as well. So, but the whole connection that you're working that 11 o'clock habit of working till to get the job done made me connect with that person. Otherwise, I would have never connected to this. I would have never connected to the Intel lady. Intel lady would have never recommended me in Intel. And then we worked on that. So it was
I'll just share one thing here. I always, because I spoke about many coaches, everybody is adding a prefix before the name, coach this, coach that, and all that. And then people actually, formally they go for a photo shoot. They will have rented suits, cards and all that. I always have been telling people my marketing for books and for anything is zero, no marketing, nothing. I always have been telling my mentees and people that I believe in the power of truth, the power of content. My content has to be so good that people it has to touch the hearts of people.
Exactly.
All these morning habits and all this which I spoke about, I have been practicing this because I want to build me into a person who can inspire people within a matter of 30 seconds or 1 minute also.
Correct. And
by practicing all of these, and I have been telling people that do not worry about marketing. I'm surrounded by, I know everybody that I talk to, everybody that I can talk about, while thinking about the field of coaching or motivation, they will always talk about selling, bechna, marketing. I say, don't worry. The universe is strong and smart. People around you are smart. They will sense, they will smell when they see the talent in you. And the people will come. The example which you have shared is absolutely one of the best examples of this. Be truthful, build your content, forget about who is watching. I always tell people that the thing which you do when nobody is watching, except CCTV cameras and TV cameras are off, that is the time which defines your character. Exactly. And the world is not such a foolish world. Even despite talking about all the showism and all the marketing and advertisement and promotion and all that which people are talking about, the world knows the truth. दिल को पता चल जाता है कि बंदा दमदार है, इस बंदे को लेकर चलो. And that's the reason. And I personally, I'm telling you with humility, I feel that changes. I feel that surge of energy within me. That's because of some of these morning habits and readings and writings and all that which I do. Nobody knows how many books I'm writing today. I'm just telling you 6 books. Many people do not. 6 books at a time with 6 CEOs and some of these people. And of course, this is just one aspect. There are other things. I always tell people, work on you, do something, even if it is very challenging, because we have got to do, like you spoke about 12 o'clock, you are sleeping, and 4 o'clock you are waking up. Nobody is watching, nobody knows, but somehow the universe knows, and the universe comes to you in the form of this person who saw you, who was waiting for his morning flight, the lady working in Intel, and we are talking about some of the biggest of organizations. यशपाल जी, आपने तो एकदम गजब का एग्जाम्पल सेट किया. अभी तो शुरुआत
नहीं
मजा आ गया.
normal story.
I'm so inspired to listen to. Go on. I think after that, anything else which you would like to share, or else I'll ask.
So Intel was very interesting journey of 2 years. Technically, what do Intel do is make chips, right? And that time Intel was the king in the whole game. They were in super demand and everything there. Now, being when you go to the large corporation, you get an awe of that large corporation from outside, that hey, these are Intel of the world and IBM of the world and Accenture and Infosys of the world and all this stuff. Let me tell you, everything from inside are same. Exactly the same, because the people, organizations are not made from the PowerPoint or the philosophy or vision or mission state. I hate those vision and mission statement.
By the way, do not use PowerPoints also. When I conduct half a 4-hour program also without a PowerPoint, it's all through interaction. And of course,
corporates are not made by your statement written somewhere. Corporates are made for the people, and people are exactly the same everywhere. They are unorganized, they are chaotic, they are driven by petty politics, they are driven by selfishness. And whether you go to Intel or whether you go to Lala shop in the Kirana shop,
whether you go to Tata's, you go to multinationals, it's all.
It's exactly the same nature. So when you go to Intel, then I realize they had very little connectivity in how much the salespeople are committing to IBM, Lenovo or HP or Dell, or how much chips they can commit, because there's more demand and supply versus actual shipment. They have no idea. Somebody's committing more, somebody's producing less. So, and it was a major issue, right? So they asked me to, and that tests your things, right? They asked me that this is the program we failed 3 times. Would you be able to take that role, right? Okay, happily. We did that. And I was notorious for calling, because all my counterparts in US, decision makers are in US, used to be midnight. I used to call them left and right. No emails. For me, calling, bother them to so much that they have to help you. Emails and text messages does not help you anyone. Call them, bother them, tell them you are serious, you want to get the job done, right? I used to call them 3 hours later. Hey, at my 3 a.m., I used to call them. Hey, we discussed something 3 hours back. Something happened. They're like, Yashpal, give us time. No, I don't have time. You may be living 100 years. I don't have to live 100 years, man. So let's get the job done. And so that was 2 important things. So we finished that program in 7-8 months, which saved Intel around $10 million a quarter in those discussions. So that moment changed my life, not because I delivered that project. What happened after that? So Intel is one of the most honest organization in terms of taxations and gifting and everything. Even if you get $25, they will declare to tax authority. We used to get bonus, $25 as a gift, and that's the maximum you can gift anybody in Intel as a corporate. So $25 I used to get tax. I'm like, what I'm getting then? $10, $12, $15, $20. What is the point of this? So when I delivered this, and they said, yes, it's one of the most amazing success of the year. And this guy saved $40 million on a year average, right? And so it's a huge, and then that time the CEO of Intel was Paul Otellini, who became the CEO later on. He sent me personal email that thanks all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. It's a corporate, appreciation. And then I'm like, yes, I'm getting something. If the CEO of the company is writing the personal email, I'm getting something. And then in the email he sent, a nice surprise is waiting for you. And I am really like,
And
yes, something is
now
coming.
the excitement gets doubled up, right? Gets doubled
Yeah,
up.
something is coming. And I'm like, maybe iPod or maybe something, because that time the salary was not high enough to buy iPods and anything of that luxury, right? You're just making. Um, After 2 week or 3 week, one package came on my desk, and the Intel India head that time was Lady Usha Sampath, who was walking aside, and she's like, "What is this? Hey, Yashpal, you got a package from Paul?" I said, "Yeah, I don't know what is it. Open it. I know this is okay." And I opened the package. You put that wobbling head on your car somewhere. That the figure, the small figure that wobbles this head. Yeah. So it was like a astronaut suit type of thing, wobbling head. And I had no freaking idea what is that. I'm like, is it a joke or something, prank, or Americans are known for their practical jokes, right? So maybe it's a practical joke. And I'm like, what is it? And Usha said, Yashpal, this is the highest honor you get in Intel. I'm like, what does it mean? They said the suit is not astronaut. It is the people who make chips in the assembly factory. They have to wear the white suit, that the protective suit, so that they don't contaminate the chips completely, right? Because Intel business is making chips, right? So if you're getting that honor, that they're comparing you, honoring you with that level, that you done something, that kind of thing. And I'm like, okay, but anything else like gift coupon or something? He said, no, if you get this is the highest honor. And that flipped my mind, that all these nights I stayed and everything uh, doesn't make sense. And I realized that time, appreciation on the email. So thank you and sorry has to touch the bank. What does that mean is, if you're thanking somebody, credit some things, some reward has to be there. If you're sorry, it has to impact you financially. Other than that, thank you and sorry are free words. Anybody can belt out every single time. I any customer service, when I call, they say, yeah, we regret the time. I said, no, then credit $50 because my hourly charge is much higher than that. Credit $50 in my account, then you will make you feel sorry. I always say that. Otherwise, sorry, I can say 100 times, man. And I realized
I'm getting your point. What it means is that people have to
I
actually
gave up my fascination on award certificate or that.
Go on, go on, go
I
on.
gave up my fascination on that. I realized unless it is impacting you financially, it has no meaning. These award ceremonies, certificates have no meaning whatsoever there. And this is the same thing I tell my son as well. He said, Daddy, I got Student of the Month award. I'm like, okay, did you get any gift voucher? No. I said, forget it. Throw in the dash. I can print it out, that Student of the Year award for you on my printer. It has no meaning. You have to take pride. When somebody is serious, they will do something out of giving the certificate.
What you're saying is very insightful, audience. I think let's reflect on what Yashpal is saying. What Yashpal is saying is that if you truly mean the words which you have used while appreciating somebody, then it will show off through your actions. If you
exactly.
Otherwise, copy paste, create 100 thank you cards and give it to people. There are so many corporates who are doing it lightly. So there is a meaning in what you said, and let's get that meaning. And then the second thing which you said is very important, that I spoke about this marketing and promotion advertisement. So from outside we create brand image of some of these companies that they have just descended from some other planet, but actually once you go inside, content is something which is all the same, right? You get
it's the same thing.
Yeah, very interesting.
They may have access to better corporate marketing team, better content, but at the end, execution and people are same. There is no difference. So never get.
It also means that companies, corporates have to look at these rewards, and then people call it RNR. Nobody knows. Nobody looks. Even they can't have. They don't even have the patience or the passion to call it rewards and recognition. So I've seen people using RNR very loosely. At least you can take the efforts of calling it as rewards and recognition.
Exactly.
So both are two different words, and each word has got a lot of deep meaning. We spoke about the fact that you said that people are leading a very shallow life. They just tick mark, tick mark, tick mark. And I think it's important for corporates to get this message that whatever you do it with intent and heart. Put some soul. You do not just ask somebody to just print 100 cards and give it. And then even you don't remember as which person you have given the cards to, right? Who are the people who have got it?
I mean, I had a very interesting thing about when I will talk about later, but when I was in Fujitsu, UAE, I mean, I skipped the India part and US part, but when I was in UAE, I was a program manager for SAP for Fujitsu here. So multiple projects were reporting to me, right? And by definition, in those times, the appraisal, all these 40, 50 people, I have to do their appraisal. And I like, it's not humanly possible for me to do appraisal because I have no idea who they are. Their project managers know. I mean, what is ideal is if I do the appraisal for project managers, but if I have to do for everybody, 30 people, I mean, I don't know them, right? What they've done, how they've done, I have no idea. So what I did was send them the Excel sheet of the appraisal sheet, told them, put your comments, which typically they had to do, and put my comments as if I'm rating you. They said, what? You want us to write your comment as well? I said, yeah, because humanly, it's not possible for me to write properly for what you have done. There's no way. I don't know you, what you have done. Even if I talk to you for half an hour, I will not get the grasp of it. So let's not, waste each other time and cut the bullshit. Write as if I'm writing for you. I'll randomly check. If I find something which is not appropriate or not true, you will never get this promotion next year. You will never get the salary increase. If you're fine, I'll take care of it. I got 30 appraisal sheet in next 2 days. Everybody finished it. I reviewed it and I sent it to HR with my recommendation. And HR said, out of all the managers, you are the first one who completed 30 people appraisal. How did you do that? Of course, I told them that I spent 2 full days working with all the people and everybody. But what, for me, because, there is no point doing that exercise which has no value, honestly. Right. So
you're talking about the power of, or the important significance of doing something in true word and spirit, in true
exactly. What I told them is, what I will do is get you the hike or bonuses which you desire. But if you want to play this game, I'm not for this game. At the end, the whole deal is you're looking for a salary hike. So let's get to the chase quickly, as soon as possible. So sooner I submit, sooner I can talk to my guys, sooner I can get the fund, and sooner I can get you the hike you desire. Otherwise, there's
Yashpal Ji, I think you have raised a very important point. You also said something a few minutes ago, which is very powerful. You said that use the word, fraud, and you said something which is very powerful. Many people in the society, including many coaches, many leaders, they actually are frauds. If we define fraud as a word, as a feeling, when you are trying to pretend, you are pretending to be something that you are not. If you ask me, 90% of people in corporates are frauds.
A fraud.
Leaders who are not exactly leaders. Team members who are trying to fool their leaders by trying to create a facade and trying to ask some questions. You give some example that, sir, how is the weather? How is the movie? And then trying to cut ice. I'm for the first time, I think after many years, many decades, I'm talking to somebody who actually means it. No bullshit, no BS. Black and white, be very genuine, be very frank, be very true. I know because I've been in the field of HR. We kept on interviewing people. I've interviewed many people, and you can make out by the answers that this guy is a fraud. And this fraud is something which people should not only associate with some names like Natwar Lal. Actually, there is a Natwar Lal who might be hiding within you. It's very important, audience. I'm saying this with humility. Please think about what Mr. Yashpal Jain has said. It's very powerful. Very nice, Yashpal ji. Very nice. So Yashpal ji, you spoke about the team. Would you like to continue? So you're talking about Fujitsu. Is there something else? Because it's 1 hour and 1.5 hours, and I'm enjoying this conversation. It's going to get into 2 or 3 parts. So amazing, Yashpal. You got so much, and that's the power of conversation. Before we started speaking, we didn't know each other to that extent, the extent that we know now. Would you like to share something while taking pause here? When you have to hire people for your teams, which are those qualities which you look for? It's a standard question, but I'm pretty sure the answers have got a lot of meaning.
Only 2 things. Only 2 things. First is the attitude of getting the job done. And second is, so people have attitude of getting the job done, but then they want to get the job done, but they don't have necessary risk appetite to get the job done. I look only for these 2 things. Rest, skills and everything, I think, is number of hours. How many number of hours you put in and you get the skill. It's not... I never say in hiring, I always have this philosophy. I don't need geniuses because, I'm hiring for my technology, right? Open text or SAP and all this. The genius work is already done, right? SAP already developed a genius product. OpenText have already developed the genius product. Now I don't need those geniuses to work for that. It's already done. What I need is the people who wants to get the job done consistently, ready to put number of hours and get the job done, right? Some people do that, but they don't have necessary risk appetite to take those chances and quickly thinking on the feet what needs to get done, right? They bogged down by the challenges so much they don't see the bigger picture or the bigger problem, how to fix it. These are the only two qualities I think of. If they are attitude is to get the job done, and second is yes, I will take the risk to get the job done. If these two are there, everything else can be taught. I mean, you don't need a super grading person or somebody. You don't need any of these.
Very nice. Awesome. Actually, already you have in the course of conversation you have responded to some of the questions which I could have asked. For example, which are the qualities of leadership? I think we have got. If he just somebody just listens to last 90 minutes of conversation and starts making a list of qualities to be a great leader, I think already he can make a good list. To be true, get things done, right attitude, the ability to take risks, and some of these things which you spoke about. But having said that, would you like to share a few qualities which you appreciate about leaders?
See, for me, leader is the leader has one job, only one job. If you summarize, everything else is to inspire. If leader is not inspiring, there's nothing else you can do. Let me put it this way. If you look at the Indian freedom struggle, right? If you objectively list, Mahatma Gandhi did not achieve much. Objectively, his Dandi Yatra was failure. His Quit India movement was failure. All these were failures. He saw multiple riots in his regime, right? He could not fix. I mean, there were riots happened. While preaching for ahimsa every time, riots happened under his nose. But he was a person who people looked up to, right? You will get executives for all the other things. Why, if the leader has to do everything, they will not have CFO, CEO, and CIOs and everything, right? They will, his job is to inspire and see what's coming. That's the only two things. It's like you have to think what's coming 6 months in advance. That's it, or 1 year in advance, where you want to do, and inspire people to get the job done, execute it. Other than that, as a leader, people say you have to be authoritative style or that style or not. I mean, nobody. Narayan Murthy was one of the most sedate leader I've seen in my life, the way he talks, right? But he's inspiring if you see what he's talking. But is he dynamic like Steve Jobs? No freaking way. Is he charming person? No freaking way. Ajim Premji, one of the most successful and the largest philosophical person ever in India. Is he dynamic on the stage and all this stuff? No way. If you read Jack Welch's book, the former CEO of GE, he said he said multiple companies came when GE wants to come to India. Multiple companies came to pitch, right, that who should take the offshore work of GE as the IT offshore work. We evaluated many, and then in the last came Ajim Premji, very simple man, very humble man, and said, "This is what we can do for you. That's it. No bullshit promising, nothing." And he was clear in his thoughts. And they said, we went ahead with Wipro to do that. So for me, a leader, if he inspires and understand what's coming, that's more than enough. For everything else, they are technician or they are people who will execute your vision. You don't need anything else.
It's beautiful. Yashpal Ji, would you like to share some inspiring books and some inspiring personalities? Of course, you spoke about some people who inspire you, but would you like to talk about books and inspiring personalities?
So from books, there are many books actually. Shantaram is one which gave me a lot of good things. Intelligent Investor, which is for the investing. It's a very technical work, but I really love those insights there. When you talk about
some books on leadership, in case you want to recommend those. I think Jack Welch
book. I don't know. You need to read. I don't know whether you read the book called Titan. Titan nice. Is autobiography of John D Rockefeller, the first Titan. Read his book. It's a heavy-duty book. It'll take few weeks or few days at least if you're a fast reader. Like 700-800 pages book. Read that book. The guy who navigates everything, he's not the most brilliant guy ever, but he inspires people to take decision and execute his vision, right?
Perfect.
Amazing.
That's perfect. That's a very inspiring suggestion, and of course, audience is going to love it. Any movies which you found inspiring? So books we have spoken. If there are some more books. Any
movies, there's so many movies actually.
Yeah.
There's so many movies. Movie which three movies or four movies which are really, it stays with you. One is 12 Angry Men. It was remade in India as a Ruka Hua Faisla.
Yeah.
But the original one, 12 Angry Men, you should see that movie. Amazing. It tells you the power of conversation. It tells you the power of not giving up. It tells you the power of persuasion. Every single time you're picking a nitpick and trying to, get the job done. That's 12 Angry Men.
Beautiful.
Second movie I liked, Shawshank Redemption, I guess will be in the favorite list of everybody's movie. How in the adversity and thinking long term. He's thinking 20 years ahead, that in 20 years I will get out like this, right? He's not even giving up on those parts. So that's the amazing one which I had. And one is The Widowmaker. It's a movie of Harrison Ford. It's not the greatest movie or anything. I don't pretend to be that I'm a movie buff or a movie critic or anything, but it's about Russian guys trying to nuke America in a submarine. The submarine is not working. And because people did not do the right maintenance on those submarines, so there are the nuclear things and they abandoned the. It's a story about how decisions are made, how leadership is done, how if you have a culture of not exposing the problem becomes the bigger mission failure later on, and at the right time you take a decision of coming back and not going ahead, because if you think it's not worth wasting the time, do not pursue that. Change your course, change the direction, change pivot. Don't be on that path which will lead to destruction, and recognize that and come back quickly.
Come back, accepting and then accepting that there is a need to make change, and then again start moving. Interesting, very powerful. Now there is one question which I ask everybody who comes for this conversation, and that question goes to you now. If we write a book on your life and journey so far, I think it is super inspiring journey, as I can see, as our audience also can easily correlate with. What do you think would be the title of a couple of titles which you can suggest, optional titles?
Listening to gut. Listen to your gut.
Yeah. By the way, gut is a common word. Which is also in the book written by Jack Welch, right? Straight from the gut.
Oh, is it? Okay. I don't remember that now.
To the gut. That's one. Okay, very nice. Very nice. And what could be the title of the chapter? Yeah, go on.
Title, one of the chapter would be maybe Unplanned Journey. I never planned for all this, it happened. If you plan too much, people say that plan and everything. When you plan too much, you lose the spontaneity and creativity, right? That
You're
when things go on your way, then you have no idea what to do. Yes, people say, you have plan B, plan C. Nobody has plan B and plan C. Nobody does that. Trust me. There's only one good move available to you at any point of time. That's it. You have to take that.
Beautiful. Yashpal Jain, there is one thing which I wanted to bring now for the sake of conversation. So we have started this conversation with you talking about goals, and now towards the end you say that too much of planning may not exactly help. Would you like to join both of these, because I can see the connection?
So, as I said, I always say you have your end goal in your mind, what you want to do, but between that, enjoy the journey, because a journey will be bumpy, unpredictable, taking you down, taking you up, all this. It's cliche, but if you don't enjoy the journey, your goal has no meaning. Because moment you reach that goal, your goal has lost all its relevance. Remember the same thing. I want to earn 20 lakhs, have a nice home and a car, and I'm set. No. Moment you have that, you want to do bigger things. That goal has no meaning now. And if I look back at my corporate job, when I started with 3,000, I think if I was earning 50,000, I would have said I will retire with the 50,000, right? Now we all are earning way beyond our wildest imagination, but we are not stopping. Are we stopping now? No, we all moving forward. So
beautiful.
Goal is just a milestone which you want to reach, and then discard it basically and have a new goal.
Absolutely right. And enjoy the journey. That's very important. Enjoy. For example, we are enjoying this conversation. It's more than 90 minutes, and still we're enjoying this conversation on a Saturday daytime, almost noon time. Amazing. Another thing. So you have traveled across the world. Would you like to talk about a couple of cities which inspire you the most, where you feel like going back to the places again?
Certain cities gives you a vibe of coming back for some reason. For example, let's say for Bombay, when I go, I feel suffocated. I want to get out of that place
Yeah.
as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Um, but the few cities, international cities, which really I love to go again. One is Istanbul.
Yeah.
I absolutely love this place. Second is San Francisco. When you feel the energy, you don't have to do anything. You just the people have a different energy altogether. Um, and Amsterdam. Last is Amsterdam. So these three cities are top my favorite list whenever I want to go. In India, I think Bangalore to a certain extent have a good energy. I mean, notwithstanding the traffic we face every single day there. Pune has a certain energy as well. A different, when you walk in those MG roads and Jangli Maharaj Road, and you feel the different energy altogether there. So those cities I like, but yeah, other than that, I'm not fond of other places.
Very nice.
Honestly.
Thank you so much. So there are just a couple of things which you couldn't discuss. I'm actually I would have suggested to have second conversation, but I want to finish it all. I think it's already close to 1 hour 40 minutes. It's amazing talking to you. So I see that you have been deeply into the field of SAP. I don't know how many SAP launches you must have led and conducted, and people must have clapped for it. And I think now we can see the connection because of those early formative years when you put in a lot of hard work and efforts. No surprises that today you are one of the, I think, leading experts in the field of SAP and all its modules. I see that you have conducted a lot of sessions, moderated a lot of panel discussions. Would you like to talk about a couple of subjects on which you normally talk? And I saw a lot of very inspiring posts where you have launched SAP Go Live and some of these things. Any thoughts on that? Because we are talking to a person who is so deeply in the field of technology. I think we need to talk a bit about this.
Correct. I mean, I normally my sessions when I give the speech, I'm a speaker, and when I have these sessions, which you just put as a background poster, um, if you go to most of the technology seminars, they're talking about technology, and you can change the company logo from SAP to Oracle to Microsoft to anything. They are the same, exactly the same. We are going cloud, we are doing mobile, we are doing this, we are doing API, we are doing subscription, we are doing software as a service, and you feel like it's like a marketing campaign, like Lay's, cereals, morning, breakfast cereal. You have 100 identical product doing the same thing, pitching the same thing with a different brand, and everybody doing the same. But how do customers choose? The customers choose in the two ways, right? One is you have a preference for a brand because you want to associate that particular brand,
Yeah.
or it impacts them. I normally choose the second one. So there are two webinars I'll talk about. Is one I did in Saudi long back. They had a content, same standard content, right? Cloud content, this content, that content, how document management will solve. I'm like, I cannot do this. So what I started doing is I called every single person in my company during open text time, which project they worked on, right?
Yeah.
And I started like, okay, let's do this way.
Yeah.
I want to impact everybody at the core level. So when you wake up, for example, right, you sleeping on a bed, do we have any customer who manufactures mattresses? Okay, get that. Do we have you morning you take tea or coffee in the morning? Okay, do we have any customer in that? What we have done there? You drive to certain, which do we have a car as a customer, car brand as a Toyota or this? And I took a life or sort of day journey of a person. Okay, what he or she does in a day: wake up, sleep, shower, drink water. Okay, do we have a water company? Do we have a office company? Do we have a furniture company? And I map the journey that how we impact these companies to do better product and how this impacts you, right? And that was one slide which had all the customer in a life in a daytime, like 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., something like that. Meal, do we have which food brand as our customer? And I said, this is how we done things. And that's something people come up and say, yeah, if you can impact that, you can improve my business as well.
Amazing.
Instead of talking technology, there is no point talking to technology because everybody knows it's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing.
I think towards the beginning of this conversation, we spoke about the power of vision, and I can see the power of vision and purpose. You are connecting all that people do, all that your team members do, with ultimate purpose as how it is adding some value to the world. Exactly. Thank you so much, Yashpal ji. It is amazing talking to you. We are
Oh,
here
my
to
pleasure.
talk
Pleasure is mine.
about Dubai life, but maybe we shall have some other conversation sometime. Because I think we have spent more than 1 decade in this place. It's a beautiful place, and we'll certainly have another conversation. But having said that, it's amazing talking to you. And I think
Same,
you
same.
made many very, very vital points. One of these points is that let's be real, let's be genuine. As you and as you just now recently said, over the last couple of minutes, let's only think of connecting and impacting the lives of people, because that is the only thing which matters at the end of the day, towards the end of the day. And once we do that, people from all these, some of the best of companies who came in your life and who gave you some of these best of offers, like Intel and IBM and all these things are going to happen. It's all about connecting, impacting the lives of people. It's all about being genuine, and it's all about not being a fraud. That's very important, audience. Please take a pause now. The video is going to come to an end. Take a pause for 2 minutes time and ask a question. I'm making this suggestion while folding my hands. Are you also doing something which is like pretending something to be something which you are not? Because in that case, the definition is very clearly said that it's an act of fraud. And I think that is at the core of most of the problems which people are facing and that we are seeing happening around us in this world. Let's be genuine, let's be real. Thank you so much, Yashpal Ji. Have a great Saturday. I know it's a
great time.
only weekend which you get. Probably maybe it's a working day also, seeing the work, the way it happens in a part of work which comes under you. Thank you. Have a great day and
Thank you.
Amazing.
It was great talking. Thank you. Bye.
Amazing talking to you. Thanks.